Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to picture something with me. Imagine a gorgeous cinematic drone shot sweeping across a sleek modern glass high-rise. The golden sunlight is reflecting perfectly off the surface. What you're seeing is the absolute pinnacle of luxury architecture. Floor-to-ceiling glass panels, smooth dynamic lines, and structural mullions that are so incredibly slim, they essentially vanish into the view. It looks like a photorealistic 8K render, but this is reality, and it's all made possible by the Schüco FWS 35 PD curtain walling system. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the engineering that actually brings this luxury aesthetic to life. Now, if you're in the industry, you know the struggle. For decades, architects and developers have been locked in this relentless tug of war. Usually you have to choose. You either get that breathtaking frameless glass aesthetic you dreamed up, or you get a clunky, thick frame that actually meets strict modern building codes for energy and safety. But Schuco's engineering philosophy completely shatters that compromise. Their design facades prove that, yes, you can absolutely have both. Which brings us to the ultimate question, the real puzzle that building engineers and luxury real estate developers face on every high-end project today. How exactly do you achieve a floor-to-ceiling, ultra-slim glass facade without completely tanking your passive house thermal performance? I mean, it sounds physically impossible, right? Common sense says more glass and less frame equals terrible insulation. But as we're going to see, the secret is all in the hidden engineering. Section 1. The FWS 35 PD, Panorama Design. Okay, let's talk about this star metric here, 35 millimeters. That is the ultra-slim face width of the aluminum mullions and transoms when you're looking from the outside. To put that into perspective, 35 millimeters is barely wider than a standard AA battery. It's what gives the building envelope that seamless, almost cinematic aesthetic, maximizing the glass and minimizing any visual interruption. But here is where it gets really fascinating. We have this beautifully minimalist exterior juxtaposed with maximalist, heavy-duty performance on the inside. You might look at a 35 millimeter profile and think, well, that's got to be pretty flimsy. No way. This standard system can carry staggering glass loads. We're talking up to 400 kilograms per transom. Plus, it easily accommodates triple glazing up to 50 millimeters thick. It is literally an absolute powerhouse hiding behind a razor-thin profile. So, how do they handle the thermal challenge? Well, it comes down to some brilliant new isolator technology. They use an internal core foam, and for their cradle-to-cradle versions, it's actually an environmentally friendly PE foam. Combine that with a pre-assembled pressure plate featuring a reflective surface to stop radiant heat loss, and the result is a U value as low as 0.88. That is so insanely efficient that it holds an official certification from the Passive House Institute in Darmstadt, Germany. Section 2, FWS 60CV, Seamless Integration. Now, let's pivot to the FWS 60CV ribbon window system. The latest specs on this are incredibly impressive. It now features an updated 85 millimeter basic depth, and it sits completely flush-fitted on the inside with just the tiniest minimal shadow gap. And strength, it supports side-hung, turn tilt, and tilt before turn vents weighing up to 160 kilograms. That means you can have massive floor-to-ceiling opening vents reaching up to 1.3 meters wide and a towering 3 meters high. When you step back and look at the whole portfolio, it's brilliant how scaling the face width correlates directly with what the system can handle structurally and thermally. You've got the FWS 35 PD giving you that 35 millimeter ultra slim look, while still holding 400 kilogram weights. Then the FWS 60 CV bumps up the face slightly but gives you massive operable vents. And then there's the FWS 50, which we'll touch on in a minute, that pushes glass weight capacity to a mind-blowing 1,080 kilograms. Basically, there is a highly engineered tool for every single architectural vision. Section 3, Extreme Performance, Security and Weather. Now, thermal performance is great, but what about the serious elements? What's truly remarkable is how these elegant, slim systems completely hide their heavy-duty defense capabilities. We aren't just talking about basic protection here. These systems achieve RC2 and even RC3 burglar resistance, meaning they're built to withstand sustained physical attacks. They offer water tightness up to 900 pascals, which is serious, heavy-duty storm protection. And on top of that, they feature fully transparent spandrel safety barriers integrated right into the profile, completely invisible without interrupting the facade's clean lines. But remember, security isn't just physical, it's environmental too. If you're designing a luxury high-rise in a bustling city, you need that interior to be perfectly silent. The engineered geometry of these mullions, paired with that thick 50 millimeter triple glazing, physically deflects and absorbs sound waves. The FWS 35PD, for instance, boasts a sound reduction index of up to 51 decibels. So it's absolute chaos outside, but a quiet sanctuary inside. And for anyone who has worked on continuous facades, you know the absolute nightmare of flanking sound, noise traveling vertically right through the aluminum structure from one floor to the next. But rigorous testing at a 4,500 millimeter reference edge proves that acoustic integrity is rigorously maintained here. Even with those continuous structural attachments, the sound just doesn't bleed through.
Section 4. Engineering the perfect assembly.
Okay, so we know it looks good and performs well, but what about actually building it? Schuco engineered a suite of fabricator benefits that are honestly just as impressive as the facade itself. It's all about speed and precision. Step 1, they use a continuous system for attachment, featuring color coding for fast, error-free installation. Step 2 focuses on glazing rebate reduction profiles that use this incredibly simple, secure clip-on technology. And Step 3, for the operable windows, they use the Schüco Aventec Simply Smart fittings, making installing those heavy mechanics incredibly efficient. The whole process is literally designed to minimize human error on site. Real quick before we wrap up, we have to acknowledge the absolute workhorse of this portfolio, the Schüco FWS 50 system. Think of this as the structural baseline. It still maintains a very narrow 50 millimeter face width, but it is engineered to carry a staggering 1,080 kilograms of glass. That is over a ton of dead weight, just flawlessly supported. It really goes to show the true breadth and capability of this engineering lineup. So what is the big takeaway from this explainer? Simple. The old rules of compromise are dead. The core message here is that Schuco gives you the whole shebang, the breathtaking, frameless architectural dream, and the uncompromised engineering reality. You get the passive house thermal efficiency, the RC3's security, the acoustic perfection, and that ultra-slim cinematic aesthetic, all baked into one cohesive system. Which brings us to our final thought. Whether you're a developer, an architect, or a building engineer, if you literally no longer have to compromise between ultra-slim luxury aesthetics and rigorous high-performance building codes, what will you design next? The technical limitations have been completely lifted. The only limit now is your imagination. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see the skylines you build.